Chapter 26. Though the intent and purpose of humanity as a whole cannot be focused as a cohesive unit, a representative group with clear intent and purpose of representing the whole can set a process into motion. It is the components of intent and purpose clearly identified as representing a whole and focused upon a defined outcome that attract to it the power to manifest into reality. It is the contribution of the many into the focus of a unit of definite intent that draws to it the power of subtle creative energies. It matters not whether the wording of each contributing focus is exact, it is the intent of the final outcome that is the cohesive factor. For the purpose of example, suppose the final outcome desired is the reclaiming of the ownership of this planet. Suppose a group of those who have evolved on this planet decide that the governing and destiny of this planet is theirs to control without outside interested parties' interference. This would be a definition of intent and purpose that would be clear enough to draw to it the energies of the law of attraction. This would result in those of like desire joining in this expression of intent and purpose in thought. Through the thought focus of this desire and the intent for this to become a reality for the good of the true citizens of this planet and the physical planet itself, the universal laws would begin to operate. The thought and emotional desire would begin to attract a greater thought process and energies would begin to coagulate into events and circumstances that would support this process. The key is not in acting out resistance to the current apparent situation, circumstances, and apparent events, but in focusing on the desired outcome. The act of holding the desired outcome within an emotional field of desire for the envisioned outcome is the application of the law of allowance. This is the most difficult of all of the laws to apply, for the events that are happening will still reflect the expression of the established process until the focus of the desired outcome begins to influence the total picture. The process of the two situations must evolve into a chaotic dissolution of the established process before the desired new process can begin to manifest into reality. Herein lies the difficulty, for the focusing group of humanity that is now instrumental in initiating this change into reality is also accustomed to what is referred to as instant gratification. Holding this intent and purpose firmly in mind and heart through the chaos into its manifestation into reality is extremely difficult for even those of well-disciplined mental capacities. It is the absolutely desperate situation that is facing the humans becoming on this planet and the prospect of the loss of all progress made over these past thousands of years that will be the impetus to do this. To indicate that the above statement is true, it is only necessary to avail oneself of the now abundant material available on the internet, talk radio, and many published revelations of conspiracies that subjugate the citizens of all countries through drugs, intimidation and war as well as physical, mental, and emotional abuse. The deliberate attacks on the moral, familial, and religious beliefs at the basis of human experience are now beyond the logical acceptance of a mind that is not already separated from its ability to logic and analyze data clearly. Fortunately, there remain in the mind and heart of all humans certain keys or triggers that can yet be activated that cause them to click into an awareness state that throws off the carefully programmed acceptance state of the propaganda that has been force-fed into their minds. The continued attack on the health of the bodies by the altered food, drugs, and medical health care system has created a further complication for humanity to rise above. The adaptability of the human body has amazed even the perpetrators of this entire scenario of control. However, the limit of the ability to absorb much more abuse has been reached for many. It is to be remembered that all of the above is part of not only the planners of the control scenario, but it also plays into the necessary chaos that will allow for the birthing of the new paradigm of experience. Unfortunately, it is to be remembered that nature uses the survival of the fittest, or put another way, the survival of the adaptable, as a rule. Thus it is the wise who begin to assist themselves through choice to assist nature in surviving by carefully deciding what foods and other products are allowed into and on their body, and further, what programming is allowed into their awareness. Almost all media is programmed contrary to the highest and best good of those who regularly expose themselves to it. It does help to be aware of its purpose and decide to take from it only that which serves the highest and best good. It is wise to remember that too much media input overwhelms even the most adept at choosing what serves and does not serve them. Media includes music as well as spoken and pictured presentations. Those who will bring about this phenomenal reversal of the planned scenario for the future of this planet and its remaining inhabitants will learn and apply well the four primary laws of the universe. These laws will become the God of their lives and upon the wisdom of these laws will rest the future. They are the foundation of the new paradigm of existence. All building blocks will be shaped by their application. Their simplicity and the energies and intelligence that their interaction with focused minds that hold clearly their intent for the highest and best good of all will bring forth changes for the good of this planet and humanity that are beyond anything the present human mind can ever imagine. It is the clear and present desire for this incredible experience that must call and hold the minds of all that read and resonate with this information. Upon your mental shoulders rests the future of this planet. The question remains as to whether there is enough commitment and focus to bring about the desire to own and shepherd this planet and your continued progress. A galaxy of fellow God beings awaits your decision and your follow-through. Chapter 27. The question arises as to what others will be doing while those committed to birthing the new paradigm of experience are focused within that process. Except for those who are committed to the agenda of the negative forces, these will be creating the necessary chaos that will allow for change. Therefore, it is necessary that those who contribute to that aspect of the change be released from any judgment on the part of the creative group and allowed to make the contribution that is within their ability to do. Since many of those unable to allow themselves join in the creative focus will be friends and family, this will make it difficult for the ground crew to stay focused and to allow them to contribute to the chaos. If it can be known and accepted that these may yet be drawn into the new paradigm further into the process, then it will be easier to allow them the opportunity to make their contribution freely. It is important that those who choose to take part actively in focusing their intent and purpose toward bringing into manifestation a new paradigm of experience clearly understand that making a commitment lightly is not recommended. The material within this series of messages has attempted to educate step-by-step change in how each perceives the world around them as it is at the moment. It attempts to point out a logical and understandable method by which change can be initiated, but also to state plainly that taking part in changing the intended future of this planet and its inhabitants involves more cacti than roses on the path through the process. The exchange of cacti for roses happens near the ending of the scenario and indeed is well worth the experience. Each is encouraged to remember that once the focus on the desire for a new paradigm begins to coagulate within the mass consciousness, not in quantity of those doing so, but in agreement with both mental and emotional commitment, the universal laws of attraction and intentional creation begin to change the total situation. What is happening will be difficult to ascertain in the beginning and will appear in synchronistic occurrences that will not always be recognized. Further, once the momentum of people reading and resonating with the messages and the desire for a new human experience begins to multiply, allowable contributions by galactic neighbors can begin to manifest in further help. There will be those who simply begin to attune to the concept, as it becomes subtly available within the mass consciousness, and begin to add their desire for a new experience without knowing about the messages. Many will have the books given to them or find copies that were not utilized by those who did receive them, a demonstration of synchronistic events that happen through the law of attraction as it subtly works. The thought vibrations as those committed to the project read, reread, and discuss the concepts with like-minded individuals contribute greatly to the invocation of the law of attraction. The power of their intention and commitment then invokes the law of intentional creation, and it is further fueled into creative action by the emotions that accompany the desire for this new experience. At this point the person involved has initialized into motion two of the laws. Holding the commitment and resolve to experience into wisdom, this opportunity then leads to the difficult invocation of the law of allowance. This requires what has been called faith through knowing that the laws are real, do work and are working in the midst of the continued apparent success of that which needs to be changed, as well as while confusion breaks down what must change. The heroes, sung and unsung, of the new paradigm will be those who can commit, grasp the understanding of applying the basic universal laws and allow them to bring forth the desired goal through the breakdown and formation process. There will be no instant gratification. It will not happen overnight. The plan to dehumanize the population of this planet is too well established to be changed quickly. But, focused desire and purposeful intent can change it. It can only be accomplished by living, breathing citizens who know that they are powerful beings with the laws of the universe and the creative flow of divine intent, that humanity be allowed to choose its own destiny and is deserving of its inherent right to do this. It must, however, choose its path of self-choice or bow to the overseers who await that choice and do all in their power to influence humanity's decision. The decision can only be made by each individual, and those individual choices then meld together into a rising tide of intent and purpose. It does not matter how much mind control via multiple processes has been forced upon mankind. There will always remain triggers within the mind and heart that can be activated that bring about changes of the mind and undo all the programmed responses in a moment. These awakenings are happening with greater and greater rapidity now as a result of many unique coincidences. As the awareness spreads that a new experience is available for the taking by committed individuals, these will increase exponentially. The wave of desire for not only changes, but for reversal of the current trend toward slavery is beginning to manifest. Take heart and do not falter in desire or commitment. The time for the ground crew to redouble its effort and continue on is now. Hold the desire clearly in mind and sense the movement of the universal laws as they support humanity, and be aware that there are many galactic fellow citizens that are awaiting the time to be of greater help when it is allowable. There are many cooperative facets that support this thrust for humanity to regain the right to determine its own destiny that are unknown. The ground crews are unaware of each other, however. What each does supports the others and the plan as a whole. There is a plan, of that you can be sure. Just as the oppressors have a plan, there is a plan that does not oppose it, but transcends it. That is a very important difference that is significant to comprehend. What good would it do to simply oppose and block a planned negative experience? It is necessary to transcend it and create that which is new. Consider that concept carefully and remember it in discouraging moments. End chapter 27.